Hi, Vicky. Thank you so much for joining this podcast episode. Really appreciate it. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Super excited to have you on the show, and it's been a great pleasure. And so we're going to talk about today is like a unusual topic we have, which is like a you experience death kind of thing. You said almost death experience. And not many people said that in my show, and that's going to be like a unique topic. So before that, I'd love to know more about your journey into business. Like you are right now as a coach. So how did you end up being a coach? What did you do before being a coach, and how did you choose that coaching path?
That's a long story. But actually, to do this in a real business way, I just started 3 months ago. But I have already 10 years experience with
Mm,
coaching. But it was never my idea actually to be a coach or go in this road actually. But because my life was a big challenge, and because of my almost that experience, because of that actually, people started to get to know my story, and from that moment they reached out to me with the question like, "Vicky, I feel so inspired by your story. Can I talk with you?" And I thought, why with me? Because I was not a coach. I was totally not in that area. But yeah, of course, I said yes, and that's how my journey as a coach started actually, because more and more people start to ask me, and the doctors and specialists, they told me, "Vicky, you're so inspiring person, you need to do something with it." And I thought, whoa, heavy, why? Because I was just out of that, so much things happen, so I was totally not thinking about that. But yeah, because people ask me for this, and because of my life experiences, because just my life was going a bit weird, yeah, I was going automatically in this road. So I started with doing work in hospitals and care centers. And so I built a lot of experiences already for 10 years to help people in different kind of situations, from people who are also almost dead, from sickness, from depressions. Yeah, every topic actually. And because they told me that they had so much about it, and people keep asking me, like, "Vicky, when you're going to do something with it?" I finally decide now, after 10 years, to start my business in this, because it was a big step, because
mm.
I don't like to tell my story, put my private story in the whole world. That's just big for me because I'm a private person, actually. Yeah, just, I don't know. So in the spotlight, like, "Hey, I'm Vicky, this is my story." It feels, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know why I should do that.
Right.
But because I can help people with it, that's why, yeah, I choose to do it, actually.
That's interesting. That's great. And like what part of like a coaching you normally used to do? Like you mentioned like about 10 years of experience. Is there like a specific area you used to work with, like a mindset, relationship?
Every kind of topics. That's why also now I choose the topic mental health coaching, because mental health is big.
Mm,
Because I don't want, and I just can't choose one niche, one topic. Because by myself, I go through so much topics, so much experiences, and I help people literally in every, I mean, in much different kind of topics. From, is what I say, people who only want motivation, people were depressive, people who didn't want to live anymore, people who were go to grieving, from lost somebody, from relationships, whatever. So much different kind of situations. So also by myself, I go through so much different kind of situations. So that's why I choose the topic mental health coaching, because that's big. And yeah, I just wanted people know that they can come to me with much thing, not only one thing, because
yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
So
So obviously, with your lot of experience and you've been helping other people right now, and you mentioned on the when we were choosing that topic, there is a unique your story is, which is like a, you almost experience your death and that kind of thing. So how is that happened and when is actually happened? Like what kind of like experience was it?
this is also something actually that's 10 years ago that this happened, almost 11 years ago already.
All right.
But I didn't talk about this so much because, yeah, it's weird for people, you know what I
Mm,
mean? So I never talk much about this topic actually, but because now this is actually something what happens. Of course, it's happened with people, and this is actually something what people need. People want to hear this. People search for people who have this experience and want to talk about it. So that's why I think, okay, I need to tell also that this is also my experience, and yeah. So I was always, I need to say that, always a very spiritual girl. So I was always already sure that there was more between heaven and earth. But I was always very afraid for that. I was just afraid that there was nothing, and it was, yeah, scary for me. Till I had my own almost death experience. I had an accident and I was in a coma, and the doctors told my surroundings, like, yeah, the chance that she's coming out is very little. And
Wow.
if she's coming out, then she's in a situation like she's like a tree, kind of a tree, because should be
Yeah.
bedridden and could twinkle with my eyes, and that's all. So yeah, they were actually prepared to that they lost me. So they had a hell of a week, like how they told me, because for me those 2 weeks, it was 5 days in coma, but 2 weeks are totally black for me. I don't know anything from that. The only thing I know from it is that I had an amazing time because yeah, because my surroundings had a very heavy time because of that, because they thought that they needed to prepare themselves that they lost me.
Yeah. I'm gonna
But at
interrupt
the
on you.
time,
Like while you was in the coma, what kind of experience was it? Like you are 100% in coma, like you don't know nothing, you cannot remember anything, or like here you can hear or see someone,
nothing.
or you just nothing. Okay.
Nothing for me. What I can tell to people, what I also always say to everyone to give them peace. I was also always afraid, not only for that, but also for the way too,
Mm.
how it's gonna happen. But I was falling, a very stupid accident with big consequence. But I was falling down with my head on the wall.
Right.
Sounds super stupid, but with big consequence. But I had a skull base fracture, so there was blood coming out of my mouth, ears, and nose. So that must be very painful.
That was
I
bad. Yeah.
didn't feel anything. I had no pain at all. Totally don't know anything from that. Totally black. No pain, nothing. Well,
Mm.
actually, I should have a lot of pain. So that's already the first thing what I can say from, yeah, yeah, there's more between heaven and earth. And my experience is that my surroundings had, yeah, a bad time because they thought that they're gonna lose me, but I had the time of my life
Right.
because I don't know nothing. 2 weeks of fully black, 5 days coma, but 2 days from 2 weeks I don't know anything. It starts like like a puzzle. My
Mm.
experience, like, after 2 weeks you open your eyes and you had one moment, and it's like a puzzle. Like, for me it took 1 year. Like, it felt like every month I got one puzzle a piece, and
Yeah.
then, yeah, it's like you come back on the earth step by step every month. Like the puzzle is coming more. Sound weird, but that was my experience. But the experience itself from the almost dead experience was, I didn't saw anything because I was super afraid always for the dead. And if you're afraid for that, you don't see anything. But I had a feeling. And I thought I was crazy, so I was not talking with anybody about this. But I was in a hospital, and people, yeah, you lay down people who also have heavy experiences.
Mm.
So I was just listening to their stories when they talked about almost that experience, and search on the internet. And then I thought, oh, it's true, because I felt all my people around me were so sad and shocked and like, oh, afraid that they lose me. Vicky, you're in a heavy situation. And I was like, that was not my experience. I
Yeah.
was somewhere where it was super nice, super lovely. Like, I feel healed because my life was a very challenging, very heavy battle. So I feel lost. I feel so sad. So, like,
So you was about
lost.
5 days in coma, right? And then and how long did it take to recover from it? Like it came back to your normal life? Is it 1 year you mentioned? Or?
Like, if you're out of the coma, you are out of the coma. You are directly on
Yeah.
earth. But for me, my experience from that part is that it took a year for me before I could really say like, "Hey, I'm back on Earth." Yeah, it sounds super weird, but it's like what I say. Like it's like you get a puzzle piece, a piece of a puzzle every month. Like you are here, but when you look back after a year, that whoa, I was there, but weird, weird. It's like you yeah, it's super weird story. It's like you come back step by step on Earth because yeah, what my experience was
Do you
I
lose
was
any
someone
kind of
that was
memory or anything like that for before you happen to go in a coma, like whatever happened in the past? Do you can remember stuff or like you forget some of your
no, because people tell that they see lights and they see
yeah.
tunnels and people who loved ones that die. I didn't saw anything because I was afraid of that and you don't see anything.
Mm.
But I had a feeling. The feeling I had was that I felt super in a super lovely place where it's plus thousands, love plus thousand. Like if you can fly, if in a place where you want to be, where you want to stay. And I felt healed, fully healed when I came back. Like everyone was shocked and sad. I was like, whoa, I was a total different person in the part of that I just felt happy and I'm always a happy person for myself, but I was going through the heavy shit. So
Right.
I was painful, deep and deep pain. And that moment I was totally not afraid for nothing anymore because at the same time I lost my mother. My mother and I were on the same time at our dying bed. And I was for years already prepared for it because she had
Yeah.
a sickness. And I was so afraid for that she's dying. And that moment when I was on Earth, I was like, I felt directly it's gonna happen now. I called the doctors like I know it's gonna happen. I want to do the preparing for her bed, that bed from my hospital bed. I need to do that because I felt it's gonna happen, and I was totally not afraid anymore. I was ready
Mm.
for it. Now it's gonna happen. So I didn't saw anything on that moment, but that was almost 11 years ago now, May 11 years. But later I did so much study about life because you want to I'm someone who want to understand things. So I studied life deeply and religion, everything about the universe, everything. I want to understand it. And then also I start with meditating. And then I had an experience later that make my puzzle, the part what I was missing, that I saw something, I got in my meditation. So then I had the experience with people are telling like they saw light like the sun, but then plus 100, but you can look at it
Yeah.
just normal. And you it's like yeah, you fly to it or something like that. And then yeah, you see directly because people talk about the third eye. I don't know if you are in that.
Yeah, I heard
That
of yeah.
you know you can if you I don't know if you have experience with meditation, you can imagine things. When you meditate, you need to imagine that you are here and here, and then you imagine.
Mm.
But on that moment you see it, you really see, it's not an imagination, you see it here really. This sounds super weird, but you see really the sun, how the sun is looking, but then as bright as, yeah, 10,000 times bright. And you go into, yeah, my experience, what I saw, because my mother was dying after my almost death experiences. So on that moment, I couldn't see my mother. But
Mm.
after when I did the meditation, I asked for, let me see where my mother is. I want to see her. I want to see, not her face, because it was too heavy for me, but I want to see where she is. I want to know if she's good because I know the feeling. I know she's in a good place, but I want to also have the part what I was missing, what I was afraid of. Show me.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, do you want to hear this? Because this is weird. It's like you go to the sun, like go to
Mm.
the sun, and then boom, it's like you come into the place, and then you see, yeah, like the most beautiful pictures what you see on the internet from the world, from, yeah, blue sea, yeah, you know what I mean, so beautiful. And but my experience was that I only could see it to that little. I think because I was in the way to open myself for it, I was still a bit afraid. And then
Right.
you only got what you're ready for.
Mm.
So, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
possible that you see things that you are afraid of or don't want to see them. It's not happening. So that's why when I was more open, I got a glimpse from this. And I saw the silhouette from my mother, that she was just there chilling next to a kind of, sea area. But it was just a few minutes like this. And then I was asking, like, trying to get it more bright, more like clearly. And then I felt like that something, there came something like, it looks like a hand, like this,
Right.
took me, turned me around, and I was back on the earth.
Wow.
Super weird story, I know, but yeah, this is what I was
That's your
experiencing. It's
experience.
really
Yeah.
amazing. So from
So,
that moment, I also saw my
yeah.
mother dying, literally. I totally not afraid.
Mm.
Well, I was super afraid for the death, and now I
Yeah.
can tell you, it's something to look forward.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I don't want to die, but it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Obviously, it's gonna happen to every single one of us. It's just matter of time, right? Some people go early, some people late. It depends. So, how did your life change from coming out of the coma, then after the recovery? Like, how do you see the world differently? Is it impacted you, like your mental health, or like the way you used to think the world is, and now you see it a different way?
In that part, it was, not a big change for me, because I was always already very spiritual and a very happy and optimistic person for myself. So in that part, it didn't change much. But when I was a child, super afraid
Mm.
for the death, and actually for everything in life. I was so afraid for, I don't know, for everything. I was like, I always stay living by my mother. And when I grow up, I need to buy a house next to my mother.
Mm.
That's just safe. That
Yeah.
kind of child I was. And from that moment, that is something that changed in a world opposite. I'm totally not afraid for nothing anymore. And I feel I was always already a very happy kid,
Mm.
happy with nothing, very grateful. But since that moment, it's plus 100, and just so in peace, really, like in love and in peace. I was already in, much like from spreading love and happiness. I was already, that's how I am naturally. But now plus 10, but literally in peace, just in peace. You don't need to worry about anything anymore, because the only thing I was worrying was the death, because all the other things in life, I'm just a person from, if you worry about something, I fix it. And if you can't fix it, then don't worry about it. Yeah, simple as that. But the death was something big, and now I had this experience. I saw my mother dying, literally. Also, that was also amazing. Yeah, I mean, heavy, but beautiful story. Also amazing, just wonderful. Yeah, I feel just so extremely in peace and totally not afraid for anything anymore. You understand life. I
Yeah.
was already someone who understand much, because I was very spiritual and I did deep research always about everything. But since this, you just understand life totally. But you also, the opposite part from it is, you don't feel that you fit into the world anymore.
Yeah.
I was already feeling a bit a stranger, because I was already always believing that there was more between heaven and earth. But since this moment, it's like you see so much, like you see directly people, you see everyone struggling, you see directly already, like, oh, this human has problems with this, he has problems with this, oh, this is sad, this is heavy, oh, this is, you know what I mean? Well, normally people should say, look at him, look at him. I was never this kind of person for myself. That is helpful, of course, but on that, for since that moment, I just don't understand it, and you just see things what you normally don't understand. You just can see, oh, this person has pain here in his heart, this person has, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just understand and see things and feel people. And from that moment, what I noticed from people to me, that is really weird. always everyone was always telling me, like, if they talk about me, like, "Oh, Vicky, I know Vicky as a very happy person who is always smiling." But from that moment, literally, when I go somewhere and I sit somewhere, I see people looking at me, staring at me, and that was a couple from just a man and a woman, and they talk about me, and they just in a nice way. I mean,
Yeah.
they look at me and they laugh at me and they try to be in contact with me, and I'm like, and my friends say, "You know a lot of people, right?" I say, "I don't know anybody." And then they tell me, "Yeah, sorry that we look at you, but you look so beautiful. You have a very beautiful aura, very nice energy." And I'm like, it was a bit weird in the beginning, you know what I mean? That's scary, actually. But this is what happened since my almost dead experience, that I noticed this from much people, that they look at me like they see something. I
Yeah.
don't know. You have a very nice aura, they say. I say, okay, thank you. So that is since my almost dead experience. I was already always happy and
Yeah.
warm-hearted actually for myself. But yeah, even if I just sit, nobody knows that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But I just sit and people come to me and they tell me. So that's a bit, yeah, it was weird. But now, like, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's really interesting.
experience from that.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that journey. And thank you so much, Vicky. We're nearly coming to end of this show. So if anyone wants to learn more about yourself, your business, where is the best place to find you?
For now, I have only my Instagram page and my LinkedIn. My website is coming. So the best way to find me is my Instagram. Let's Make Miracles True. That's my business name.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So I wish you best of luck with your business, your personal life, and you have a wonderful year ahead with the health and everything. So thank you so much for coming to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That was a pleasure. Thank you. That's a wrap,
Ciao,
guys.
ciao.
Thank you so much listening to this podcast episode with Vicky today. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. If anyone wants to learn more about her, you can find her on her Instagram, on LinkedIn. So I'll talk to you in our next episode. Take care.